Good evening. Welcome to the open session of the regular meeting of the TCUSD Board of Education. May I have a motion to reconvene to open session, please?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by member Tiet, second by member Nolenberg. All in favor?
Aye.
Clerk Tiet, will you please lead the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, Mr. President. Sorry. Everybody rise. Please place the flag. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready to begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next we have announcement of actions taken in closed session, and there were no actions this evening taken in closed session. Okay, moving on to item number 9, which is a special recognition presentation regarding the Temple City Amateur Softball Association All-Star Teams. And I'd like to call up my friend Victor Sanchez. What does that hat say? USC?
Virginia.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. With all the people here, that's the kind of good evening I get. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Well, tonight we're pleased to recognize 2 of Temple City Softball All-Star teams. 8U, which is ages 8 and under, and 10U, which are ages 10 and under. Both teams placed 3rd in district competition out of 12 qualifying teams, and were one of 22 teams out of 100 that qualified for the state championship tournament. So I think that's awesome. And with Victor and President Pomeroy's assistants, we're first going to acknowledge the 8 and under All-Star team. They took 3rd in the Diamond Bar Father's Day tournament, placed 3rd in district, and qualified for the state championship tournament. So when we call your name, you'll come up, we'll give you a certificate, and if you just, we'll line you up over here so everybody can take a good look at you. Okay? And Victor, can we get your assistants and calling up the groups?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to call the manager so they can go ahead and call their
Perfect.
teams up. Ray, Coach Ray.
Oh, Coach Ray, I remember.
David Espedia and Coach, is there another? Oh, for one at a time?
Yeah.
Okay, for the U8s. Okay.
Isabella Espatia. Marissa Blanco. Shirley Gonzalez. Melissa Duffy. Ella Lee. Victoria Martinez. Andrea McConnell. Jasmine Regis. Victoria Ronquillo. Lila Salcido. Megan Simpson. Molly Talamantes. And Isabella Villalobos.
Let's hear it one more time for the 8 and under All-Star team. Those are 2 and then we can back, and then we'll put the others in front and take one big group picture. Sure, because I'm sure the parents would want that.
All right. How you doing? Congratulations.
Just stay there, ladies. We're going to have you, once everyone's done taking pictures, we're going to have you just take one step back. We're going to have the 10 and unders come and stand right in front of you. So just once everyone's done, we'll have you just take one step back. You don't get to sit down yet. Okay, so just step back, and then we'll have the other girls line right in front of you. Okay, the next all-star team are the 10 and unders. They won the 10U Arcadia Foothill Classic Champions. They placed 3rd in district and qualified for the state championship tournament.
Before I present, I want to thank the board for allowing us to be here and recognizing our league and our girls. It's a very special night for them. And second of all, this is something that started for our league when All Stars were selected back in early May. So now what happens is this is going to be the last time we'll be together as a team. So it's kind of another special night for us. So thank you very much for allowing us to be here. Bella. Katrina Blanco. Kimberly D. Jaden Hogan. Summer Johnson. Megan Cope. Amanda Mercado. Madison Metz. Hayden McKinney. Miranda Pena. Dina Reyes. Michaela Sanchez. And we're very glad to see her. She missed our last event. Sarah Zuniga.
One more time, let's hear it for the 10 and under ladies. Thank you. There's a lot of paparazzi for photos, so keep smiling. Somebody's round, he captured you in their picture.
Can we have the girls in front of you so we can take a picture of the group together? Sure. You guys go behind.
Thank you, Rosa. She should be. I was on it. My emblem.
Squeeze in, girls. Okay, everybody get that.
All right, one more big smile for those last second photos. Thank you, ladies.
Okay, thank you so much everyone for coming, and we welcome you to stay if you'd like, or if you would wish to steal your base out the door in the back, feel free.
They want you to run home.
Thank you again, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Nice to see you guys. Proclamation.
All right. We are.
One mic.
All right, we are going to move on now to public comment on agendized and non-agendized items. I have 2 requests for public comment. If anybody else would like to make public comment this time, please fill out a form and bring it up. And so I'll just take them in reverse alphabetical order. All right, so our first public comment, we have Laborio Suarez. Please.
Hi, good evening. I'm Laborio Suarez, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Temple City High School Marching Band. We are grateful for all that you've done and your great contribution towards us. To show your gratitude, we hereby present to you a token of our appreciation. So if you guys would please do so. We would just like to say that you guys helped a lot and that we really appreciate it. So these pins are the rose red pins that we're using, and if you would wear them with pride. Thank you.
Thank you. We've been presented with 3 pins. One with the Temple City Rams and a drum and a Tournament of Roses pin, and then also the theme for the parade, theme for the whole tournament. Right, it's not just the theme for the parade, is that true? Thank you, inspiring stories. Thank you so much. All right, we have one other request for public comment from Mr. Lawton Gray.
Good evening, President Pomeroy. When did you change? Was it tonight? Okay, good. Because the letter 6. I didn't catch that in the memo. I come this evening to talk to you guys about, just wanted to say thank you to our district. We had a passing of one of our staff members recently, and this amazing community came together for Oak Avenue. And I'd like to read a letter that I passed around, but I want to read it just so I can thank the people who came to Oak to support us in our time of need. So, dear Board President Ken Tiet and fellow board members, I want to publicly take a moment to thank everyone who has supported Oak Avenue Intermediate School after the passing of Ophelia Arroyo, who was a faithful employee in our district for 12 years. Ophelia continued to come to work, the place that she loved, all the way up to a week before she passed. This shows how truly amazing and caring and dedicated she was to Oak and the district. Ophelia was the spirit of Oak Avenue, and she will be long remembered for her kindness to all, beautiful smile, and warm welcome as she greeted everyone who came into the office. The outpouring of love shown by the staff members in this district is a testament as to why this is such an amazing place to work. I want to especially thank our superintendent, Kathy Perini, the high school principal, Mary Jo King, the Dr. Doug Sears Learning Center principal, Chris Sewell, Longden principal, Aiden Rudd, and Emperor principal, Robert Westgate, for sending personnel to cover positions at Oak Avenue to allow the staff members to attend Ophelia's funeral. In order to express my full appreciation, I want to recognize by name each person that helped to cover positions for our staff to attend the funeral in our time of need, and this is in alphabetical order. Raul Acevedo, Pam Annis, Aaron Chang, Art Cuna, Kate Franciscini, Martine Gonzalez, Nancy Hong, Maria Ioli, Jerry Lawrence, Michael Lynn, Gary McGuire, Kathy Perini, Mary Peterson, Elizabeth Ridley, Nancy Rodriguez, Marianne Sorrell, Deanne Sharada, and Carrie Smith. May Ophelia's life serve as a valuable reminder to all of us to live a life of compassion. Thank you very much, and once again, I just truly appreciate everyone coming to support Oak Avenue. It was a wonderful service. Mr. Pomeroy actually played with our advanced orchestra, who Ophelia's husband asked us to play the band because she loved the band. I mean the orchestra, she loved the orchestra and the band. But they played a wonderful piece as everyone left, and everyone just said how incredible it was to see so many staff members at a funeral of someone, and also to have the kids come out and play. So I just want to thank everyone here, and thank you, Kathy, for having the district personnel there, and thank you, Mary Jo, so much for having the high school people come in waves to support Oak Avenue. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gray. And it was a memorable day. And somewhere on my agenda it says I get to make comments, and it's later, so I will speak about it. Moving on to item number 11, update on district issues, business services. Mary Ann.
Nothing to report tonight.
Thank you. Instructional services, Dr. Francis Sheen.
Quite a few things. Under the direction of Jessica Gould with Oak Avenue, the high robotics team beat 10 high schools in a competition held December 6th. And they came in 12 out of 22 teams. So congratulations to the high robotics team. In addition, Michael Lynn has been working very hard to set up some computer science roundtables and robotic Super Bowl events. And so the first computer science roundtable will be held on January 23rd. This is sponsored by Assembly Member Ed Chow, and it's going to be at 3 to 5 p.m. at La Rosa. And then the robotic Super Bowl is going to be held at London on January 24th from 9 to 3 p.m. And so we look forward to those two activities. And last, I would like to share with you a flyer advertising our upcoming parent community forum called Plug into Education. And so it is slated for February 5th to be held at Temple City High School in the Media Center. And so at first blush, we have 3 topics: cyber safety, focusing on digital citizenship. You might recall that our ASD students mentioned that we really need to revisit what digital citizenship means, and we want to focus on how to help parents help their students be safe on the internet. In addition, we'll have 2 breakout sessions. One is called Technology as an Educational Tool, which Mr. Michael Lynn will facilitate. And then we have parent educational resources that will be focused on the Common Core in math and English. And we're looking at Dr. Lila Bronson to be the keynote speaker for that. So I just wanted to give you an update and let you know where we're going. That's it.
Thank you. Personnel services, Mr. Kuna.
Actually, I have 2 things to share today. On behalf of the Personnel Commission, we regretfully announce that we have a vacancy for the commission seat that is appointed by 2 of the members with the passing of our previous appointee. And we're going to be announcing this in the 2 of our local newspapers, City Life and Temple City Tribune, if anybody is interested in participating in the Personnel Commission. The other thing I'm going to hand out is this is the annual report, which you can just take this and give it to our board members. This was shared at our last Personnel Commission meeting, and this is a annual report from 2013-14 of the hiring, vacancies, testing, eligibility list, layoffs, everything that happened in classified personnel for 2013-2014. That's it.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. Item number 12, bargaining unit comments, Temple City Education Association. Do you have any comments tonight? Okay. CSEA 105, Robin Penn, or her designee. Any comments? Okay. CSEA 823, Dave Niles or anyone else? Okay, thank you. Student board member comments.
Okay, I have quite a few things to share tonight. For the high school, we had the high school and also all the schools in the district July 20 TC parade was last Friday, and many of our organizations participated in that. Last Saturday, the band went to the Antelope Valley Christmas Parade. The Holiday Strings concert at the high school was last night, and today the Honors Orchestra was at Disneyland. And the AP Environmental Science class is going on their Belize trip, leaving on December 14th, and they'll be returning on the 23rd. Our Spirit Week, which is going to be next week, the theme was the week before break, and we have various holiday-themed dress-up days for that and activities. The holiday concert is next Tuesday, and that features Brighter Side as well as many of our other on-campus groups. And Advanced Drama is having a variety show on the Thursday before the break, and that's another holiday themed performance that they have. Our Temple City Cheer and Pep Squad is competing on this Saturday in Sierra Vista. For Oak, last Wednesday was their the Oak and Elementary local concert, and their instrumental concert is next Thursday, and their assembly is on Friday. And they have a dance on Friday as well to end their spirit. They have a dance this Friday to end their Spirit Week, which is this week. And then for elementary, this week was minimum days for parent-teacher conferences. They have the elementary music concert is tomorrow at the Oak Gym, and Rosa and Clover are having a blood and bone marrow drive this Saturday. And there's other various holiday events at all the elementary schools. And I also just want to say about Ms. Royo. I remember her from Oak and what a wonderful person she was. And it's sad to hear of her passing, and I'm grateful that I was able to know her. And that's it. So thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to board member comments. We'll just go around the table as we happen to be seated tonight. Maybe not how we're permanently seated. Vice President Bell.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone. I'm glad to be back. I'm sorry I was battling the flu and missed my first board meeting last month. I knew it was a very good one, so the other opportunities. I just want to wish everybody a happy holidays. And from a personal perspective, I'm not going to mention where I go because if it's happening in the school district, there's a good possibility I'm there. But beyond that, I've had an opportunity to reflect 1 year, completing a year service. As a board member, much like President Pomeroy, I like the sound of that. That's cool. And you know, I'm really grateful in a lot of ways with the amazing staff that we have and amazing fellow board members that I have the honor and privilege of learning from. And I'm looking forward to a new year. I think we've made some strides. I think that together I see a new renaissance in this district, and I'm so happy to see that. And you know what? Let's have some fun. Let's work together. It's good. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Nolenberg?
Just a couple of quick ones. Hopefully everybody had a nice Thanksgiving, and wish everybody a Merry Christmas since we won't be here. This is the last board meeting of this year. A couple of things, the robotics group, and there's two teams really. One team is the one at the high school, and there's a second team at the elementary schools at different leagues. And the one in the at Oak Intermediate was performing last weekend at Monrovia, and they did an excellent job. And mainly because they had such a short time frame to get ready. And I'd like to thank not only the school foundation for help seeding some of this, but also thank the Michael Lynn for his efforts and some of the other people involved that made this possible. Mrs. Westgate as the coach, and her husband, I assume he's the assistant coach. And hopefully they at the London School, the kids did exceptionally well, placing I think first for the young men, and the young ladies managed to go on forward. And there's another meet this coming Saturday and Sunday at one of the other local high schools, in which people are invited to attend. Usually most of the action is between 9 and 3:30. If you go after 3:30, usually about 5:30, they give out awards. And one of the things is, as the children progress through this, at Longden there's a certain level, but as they move to the Oak intermediate schools, they develop more of a program language in the C language, and they build a rector set type robot. So progressively, and then when they go to high school, it's even a bigger robot. So it's a progression of learning process, which I think helps support STEM and STEAM. The other one is the blood drive. It's at La Rosa this weekend. I think it's at 9 to 3:30. And also, it was nice to see the band marching in the Arcadia Band Festival. I don't know if they won an award, but there was about 40 bands there, and they did exceptionally well, I thought, but I'm prejudiced. So, I thank you.
Thank you, Member Nollenberg. Member Ridley?
Thank you. First, I'd like to thank outgoing board president Kian Tia, who I think did a really great job for us. He had a number of issues to handle, and he handled them very well. So I thank him for his year of service. I understand this weekend in Pauldale, our band did quite well and took sweepstakes in every category. So congratulations. You must really be gearing up for the Rose Parade. So that's very exciting. John, congratulations. We wish you the best, and I'm sure we'll all behave properly and not give you too much grief. So I'll do my part. I'd like to request that we adjourn today's meeting in honor of both Ophelia Arroyo and of Mike Palmer, who Mike was a long-term board member as well as long-term Personnel Commission member. And both of them are going to be greatly missed. And everyone, I wish everyone a very happy holidays.
Thank you, Member Ridley. Mr. Tiet?
Thank you, TT, President Palmer. Unlike Member Ridley from there, who strives to behave, I will not. But I just want to thank my fellow board members as well as staff members and Ms. Cooney for all the support that they gave me last year as board, sitting in that chair. Without them, I would truly be lost, and I'm very grateful that we have this board and they're all very supportive. And especially, I'm going to miss receiving emails from Lynn and having her respond so quickly to my emails. She is an invaluable part of our team, and I want to thank her for giving me all the support this year. To all the folks out there, happy holidays. Hope you guys enjoyed it and enjoyed your Thanksgiving and turkey and all the good stuff. I shared with Art earlier. I had airplane food and it was not very good. But I'm glad to be home and looking forward to spending Christmas. Actually, I won't be spending Christmas, but looking forward to going to the Rose Parade. I think I'll make it to that one. And happy holidays, everyone. Thank you.
Okay, I think there's only one board member left. So, let's see. I also want to echo the comments of Member Ridley, and you know, our first year on the board, Mr. Bell, you and I, having a board president lead us through some very important decisions and set us on the path towards making many more important decisions in the future. And I'm proud to say, Mr. Tia, I consider you both a colleague and a friend, and I've enjoyed working with you. I don't know if it's only the lawyer language that we speak to each other or the fact that I keep running into you at Starbucks, but it's both maybe. It's eased by caffeine. Yes. But thank you for your work. I did ask him to sit next to me as my right-hand person tonight. Whether that continues, I don't know. All I could say is I didn't really expect to be sitting in this chair tonight and going forward, and so I gather that it wasn't suggested it might happen to me so that I wouldn't have time to prepare a speech, because I've made speeches in the past. So, but it's humbling, and look at all of the great teachers and staff in our district, and our administrators, and our superintendent, and I look forward to the next year greatly. And on that score, I do want to echo and speak to what Mr. Gray was talking about, and the service for Ophelia Arroyo. I volunteered to drive the musicians, including my daughter, to the service out in Diamond Bar, and then somewhere along the way, Mr. Taylor suggested that I get my viola and bring it with me and play, so I did. But the thing that struck me about that day is something that strikes me so often at our schools. I see teachers, staff, and administrators going beyond the call of duty, and if there is a written job description, they look at that and that's the starting point for them. You know, this district really has a family feel to it among the staff because people participate and support each other. And so I stepped on Oak Avenue's campus that morning, and I saw our superintendent, and I saw Nancy Hong, and I saw other administrators from other locations pitching in to help out so that the staff at Oak could have time and space to do what they needed to do. So that was indicative to me again of the wonderful spirit that we have, and I'm grateful to be a part of it. Let's see, I could probably think of something else to say, but I have a lot of speaking to do as I read through this thing, so. But thank you to my fellow board members for putting their trust in me, such as it is, to read the agenda at every meeting over the next year. Now, superintendent comments, please. Thank you.
Thank you, President Pomeroy. That's going to be the new thing, President Pomeroy. I just publicly wanted to, you thanked us, Lawton, but we thank you for the opportunity. On such a sad occasion, we felt that that was the best way to honor Ophelia. But we had such a great day at your school and with the kids, and we just had a great time of nailing certain kids that try to sneak behind buildings and all those fun things that you love about junior high. So just thank you for entrusting the school to us, because we did have a very enjoyable time working with the students, so thank you. The only other thing I would like to say tonight is thank you to Mr. Tiet, and we have a lovely parting gift for you. You've made my transition very enjoyable and a lot of fun, and I appreciate that very much. So we have a little something for you that you can't bang on the table. It's permanently secured to this plaque, so thank you. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Perini. And the next item is written communications. I do have one here from the Los Angeles County Office of Education addressed to Board President Kian Tiet, dated December 5th of this year, and it indicates that they had received and reviewed the tentative agreements that we will be addressing and that are on the agenda to approve this evening with our 3 bargaining units. And they indicate that they meet the required reserve level as far as the County Office of Education is concerned for the next 3 years. So I'll pass that to my left. Were there any other written communications received that we need to address? Okay, hearing none, let's move on to our discussion and action agenda. Ahead of schedule, which indicates items that may require discussion, but upon which the board is expected to take action during the meeting. And 17A, may I have a motion to approve the opening of a public hearing to discuss amendments to the July 1, 2013 through June 30, 2016 collective bargaining agreement with the Temple City Education Association.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Member Nolenberg, second by Member Bell. All in favor? Aye. Okay, it is 7:38, and we are now in a public hearing to discuss the amendments. Does anybody wish to speak? Yes, Member Ridley.
I'll just make one general comment that actually applies to this in the next 2 or 3 hearings that haven't been on the board through our lean years where we really weren't able to do anything financially for our employees. It's especially pleasing to finally be able to do something. So it's good news.
Thank you.
I make a motion, we close public discussion.
Well, okay, before you do that,
Oh, you,
I'll speak, unless anyone else wants to. Do I get the last word all the time? Is that how this works? I do, right?
You got that.
I just echo Member Ridley's comments and not having been through this process very often, and you know, I'm wary about the financial future, not so much of our district, but of the state and what comes to us. I'm heartened by the spirit of cooperation that I saw through this process, and I hope that that spirit continues in the future. And I appreciate very much the work of our administrators to wrap up bargaining with all of our units so that we can address them all this evening. Board members, any other comments before I close the public hearing? Public? Okay, and the motion was from Member Nolenberg to close the public hearing. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Motion by Member Nolenberg, seconded by Member Tiet. All in favor? Aye. 5-0. Do I have to announce the votes? Okay, 5-0. And the motion to open was also 5-0. Thank you. May I now have a motion to approve amendments to the July 1, 2013 through June 30, 2016 collective bargaining agreement with the Temple City Education Association?
So moved.
second.
Motion by Member Ridley, second by Member Nolenberg. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, hold on.
Roll call.
I'm sorry.
That's why you're here. Yes.
Any questions or comments?
We're at 17C.
I'm sorry, Member Bell, we're at 17C, for those going home. Yeah. From board members, any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mr. Nolenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Pomeroy?
Yes.
Mr. Ridley?
Yes.
Mr. Tiet?
Yes.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve the opening of a public hearing to discuss amendments to the July 1, 2013 through June 30, 2016 collective bargaining agreement with the California School Employees Association number 105.
So moved.
Motion by Member Nolenberg, seconded by Member Tiet. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. 7:42. Still ahead of schedule. Any comments? This, again, is a public hearing, so any comments? Okay. May, go ahead.
faster because we're ahead of schedule.
What was the record that you said? No, we can't, it's not on the agenda, right? Discussing your record is not on the agenda. All right, well, may I then have a motion to approve closing of said public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by member Tiet, second by member Nolenberg. All in favor? Aye. 5-0. Now, may I have a motion to approve the amendments to the July 1, 2013 through June 30, 2016 collective bargaining agreement with CSEA 105?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by member Nolenberg, second by member Tiet. Any questions or comments? I again would just echo myself. Thank you not only to our bargaining units but also to our staff members. You know, different pieces are done by different members of the cabinet, and so it really is a team effort. And I'm impressed with what I've been seeing from all of that. So thanks to all of you. Any further questions or comments? No? Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mr. Nolan?
Yes.
Mr. Pomeroy?
Yes.
Mr. Ridley?
Yes.
Mr. Tiet?
Yes.
Moving on. May I have a motion to approve the opening of a public hearing to discuss amendments to the July 1, 2013 through June 30, 2016 collective bargaining agreement with the California School Employees Association number 823?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by member Tiet, second by member Nolenberg. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. So now, again, public hearing. Any comments on this particular item from the public? Okay. Hearing none, or may I have a motion to approve closing of the public hearing to discuss the amendments to that bargaining agreement with CSEA 823?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by member Tiet, second by member Nolenberg. All in favor?
Aye.
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 5-0. Now, motion to approve the amendments to the July 1, 2013 through June 30, 2016 collective bargaining agreement with CSEA 823.
So moved.
Seconded.
Motion by member Tiet, second by member Ridley. Any questions or comments? Okay, roll call please.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mr. Nolenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Pomeroy?
Yes.
Mr. Ridley?
Yes.
Mr. Tiet?
Yes.
Okay, moving on to item 20A. May I have a motion to approve the opening of a public hearing to discuss management compensation effective July 1, 2014?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion from member Ridley and a second from member Tiet. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're in a public hearing to discuss management compensation effective July 1st, 2014. And just, I want everyone to know I'm conferring on procedural matters with my pillars next to me. Okay. We will still have time to discuss the item. Hearing no further comments from the public, may I have a motion? Are there any comments? I hear talk, and if there's talk, we want to hear comments.
No, we were just discussing the dominoes falling after our negotiation and how exciting it is. Thank you.
Any further comments from the public? Okay, may I have a motion to close the public hearing to discuss management compensation?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by member Tiet, second by member Nolenberg. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. Now, 20C, may we have a motion to approve management compensation effective July 1, 2014?
So moved. Second.
Motion by member Ridley, second by member Nolenberg. Now, any questions or comments? Yes. And, okay, I have two comments. As stated on the agenda, the board's approval, should the board approve this, is pending the approval of documents pursuant to AB 1200 by the Los Angeles County Office of Education. So those are documents that we had to submit to them, not necessarily addressed by this letter that we received from them. Is that right?
This is them approving it?
Into the microphone, please. No, it's okay.
This letter is the LA County Office of Education approving the AB 1200.
Okay.
They receive it 10 days prior to this meeting.
Okay. So is our action pending approval, or if we approve this, is it already approved by the County Office of Education?
It's approved by the LA County Office of Education and waiting for your approval.
Okay.
I think I think Waco only approved for the 3 bargaining units. I don't know, does management fall under that?
They are approving TCEA, CSEA 105 and 823 and management staff.
Okay. Thank you.
Board members, any other questions or comments? Okay, I have a question. So basically, from the agenda report, we see 5% cost of living adjustment and also increase of 10% in health and welfare contributions. And so it is essentially equivalent in amount to the percentage increases given in the contracts that we have approved. Is that right?
Yes.
And finally, down looking at fiscal impact funding source, so then our understanding is that based on the personnel as we have it now and the salary levels as we have them now, these amounts stated here, are these the increases or are these the new costs? Do you understand my question?
I do. So this would be the additional expense when you compare to the approved budget June 2014.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments? Okay. Member Jet, any questions or comments?
I do have a comment. I don't know if it's a question or a comment, but maybe it's a hybrid. Yeah, the 5%, 10%, was that, how did we come up, was that negotiated, or, I don't know, I don't want to get into negotiations and stuff, because I don't know what I'm supposed to do. It came up, it's so similar, it comes across kind of like almost like a Me Too thing, but I don't know.
There's no Me Too language. It's negotiated.
Thank you.
I don't know how much else to say. Does it answer your question though, or?
And yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, I tried to attend some board meetings in the past, but I suffer from a deficit of history just a little bit. So, however, my understanding is that it would be common, or it has been common for us to do this if increases were given through the bargaining process, that increases are also given to management staff. And are there any other, from my fellow board members who have been through said process before, have we addressed management compensation at the same time that we have addressed the approval of contracts with our bargaining units in the past?
I think there's been enough times when there hasn't been any movement, so these items haven't come forward.
You can speak to that if you would like.
Well, public hearing closed, so
think at some point, it all comes back to the board for approval. It may not necessarily be all on the same day, because I think this is a rarity that we have all 3 units wrapped up and everybody, it's all presented at one board's meeting. I believe in the past, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think it was all one meeting.
Our historian tells us that last time it was TCA and management, and then 105 and 823. Part of our goal and desire in the spirit of continuity and moving the district forward is as negotiators, we worked diligently to try to ensure that we had agreements from all the bargaining units and going forward so that we have a unified understanding and shared purpose of value for our employees. If that helps clarify.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mr. Nolenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Pomeroy?
Yes.
Mr. Ridley?
Yes.
Mr. Chia?
Yes.
Now, moving on to 21A. May I have a motion to approve the opening of a public hearing to discuss a salary increase for unrepresented classified staff effective July 1, 2014?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by member Tiet, second by member Nolenberg. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. We are now in a public hearing to discuss item 21A. This is our chance. We're listening. Was that Frazier?
I was listening.
Okay. I will make a motion then to approve closing of the public hearing to discuss a salary increase for unrepresented classified staff effective July 1, 2014.
I'll make that motion.
Second. Motion by member Tiet, second by member Bell. All in favor?
Aye.
Now, may we have a motion, moving on to 21C, to approve the salary increase for unrepresented classified staff effective July 1, 2014.
So moved.
Motion by member Tiet, and I will second that motion. Questions, comments, discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mr. Nolenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Pomeroy?
Yes.
Mr. Ridley?
Yes.
Mr. Chia?
Yes.
Item number 22, may I have a motion to adopt resolution 1415-16, establishing Fund 20.0, a special reserve fund for post-employment benefits?
So moved. Second.
A motion by member Ridley and a second by member Nolenberg. Now, questions or comments?
I do actually, and this may be semantics, but I noticed that did they change the acronyms? I know we see a lot of acronyms.
Is this O? You're looking for the O and the E, right?
Yeah, I
Or is
mean, the
O
letters
and
are
E?
transposed. I'm not sure. I think I'm looking at the right thing. I just want to clarify that.
It is the same thing. It depends which state documentation you look at.
Okay.
Sometimes it's OPEB and sometimes it's PIBO, but it's the same thing.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Member Nolenberg.
Yes. Can you just clarify, this sets up the fund, it doesn't fund the fund though, does it? Does it fund it?
This is the first step, which we're required to set up a separate fund. And then I'll be later asking for your permission to actually move the cash from the general fund into this fund. It does not put it into a trust. Thank you. It doesn't put it into a trust or anything like that. It just puts it into a separate fund.
Okay. And then the other question is, with Prop 2 passing, should we be using the word reserves? If they come along and they say that we got
Microphone, please.
Thank you. If they come along and say that this is a reserve account, would it be subject to Prop 2?
So there's a couple questions in there, so let me try and make sure I answer them all properly. There will always be a reserve in any kind of fund balance. It's an amount that has not been spent. It's always your reserve. Prop 2, Sacramento's still arguing exactly how that's going to happen and what will happen. I think it'll be probably 3 to 4 years before we have any kind of firm answer from them. However, by moving this out of the general fund, it does lower our reserve. So there will be a lower amount that Prop 2 would be looking at. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Yes.
Any other comments? Member Tiet.
So we're, clear here, we're moving $750,000 from the general fund to fund the, I guess, 20.0.
Yes, the board approved in 13-14 to set aside $500,000, and in 14-15 you approved to set an additional $250,000 aside. So that's where the $750,000 that we're talking about comes from.
Okay. Member Tiet, any other questions?
No, that's all I have. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Member Nolenberg?
Yes, the $750,000 already accounted for in the budget, right?
Yes.
And so, just so I'm clear, so it will be transferred to this fund, and then the steps that you indicated would still possibly be taken in the future regarding how the money in the fund is, whether it's invested or what's done with it. That would
Right.
require further action. All this is doing now is creating a new fund and moving money from the general fund over there.
Exactly. We're establishing a new fund.
Yes.
And then there will be a cash transfer from Fund 01, which is the general fund, to Fund 20, which is the special reserve fund. Other than that, no further action will be taken without your discussion and approval.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mr. Nolenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Pomeroy?
Yes.
Mr. Ridley?
Yes.
Mr. Tiet?
Yep.
Thank you. Now moving on to item 23, may I have a motion to adopt resolution 1415-17, establishing fund 40.0, a special reserve for capital outlay projects.
So moved.
Second?
Motion by member Ridley, second by member Tiet. Questions, comments, discussion? Member Nolenberg?
Yeah, I thought the number was more like 1,080,000 instead of the 950.
You may recall when we were reviewing the budget that the balance was $950,000. That's what's remaining in that account related to the fire
So we've
funds.
already spent some of it. Okay.
Other questions or comments? Okay, I do have a question. So again, this is just setting up a separate fund, and the money would be put into that fund, and this doesn't change what happens to that money in the future, is that right?
Correct. It's a separate fund to set aside this money that has been earmarked for the modernization at the Emperor site.
Pursuant to our previous actions.
Yes.
Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, Jim?
Member Nolenberg?
Just to clarify, is the money that's going into these restricted money or non-restricted?
When you say these,
Well,
you're talking about this?
well, this one
this
is the
fund.
one prior to it. Both are reserve accounts. And we're taking it from the general fund. So are we taking restricted money, or are we taking just general money that can be used for anything at some later date?
This is unrestricted money
Okay.
in the general fund. and then you're reserving it for these specified purposes.
Understood.
Okay. Any further questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mr. Nollenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Pomeroy?
Yes.
Mr. Ridley?
Yes?
Mr. Teo?
Yes.
Item 24, may I have a motion to approve the 2014-2015 first interim financial report?
So moved. Second?
Motion by member Ridley, second by member Nollenberg. Hold on. Questions, comments, discussion?
I think we have a presentation.
Thank you. Presentation, please. That's why the computer was there.
Good evening. So tonight we'll be taking a quick review through the first interim report for 2014-15. Twice a year, the governing board is required to certify the financial condition of the district. Okay, let's see if I can do this. There we go. And what the board is doing is saying that the district can meet its financial obligations for the remainder of the current fiscal year and the two future fiscal years. There are 3 certifications that are possible with the first interim report. There's positive, saying that we can meet our obligations. Qualified is saying that we can meet the current year's projections but may not be able to meet obligations in the out 2 years. And a negative certification means we can't meet our financial obligations in this year or the out 2 years. And we have a positive certification for our first interim. The first interim is based on actual financial results, through October 31st, and they include any board-approved changes to the June adopted budget, as well as any changes that would affect our projected years for 15-16 and 16-17. So this is a very high-level summary. Our revenue, what we're doing now is comparing the adopted budget in June and what our first interim report is saying. And in a minute, I'll go through the details of this. So this is broken into 2 major components, the first being revenue, the second being expenditures. So the first one you see is LCFF revenue, which is primarily our state revenue, and it reduced by $1,843,000. And we have discussed this previously. This is based on the fact that the June budget was based on ADA of 6,180, and we had to adjust our revenue down because our actual ADA was 5,857. Our federal revenue increased by $223,000, and that was related to a couple different items. The first one is Title I. We got an additional $87,000 of entitlement that the federal government told us about after our budget was implemented in June. Title II, we received an extra $10,000. Title III, immigrant education, an additional $20,000. And Title III, limited English, $107,000. So those together are $223,000 of additional federal revenue. Our other state revenue went up by $20,000, and that was primarily related to an increase in state mental health entitlement. And our other local revenue reduced slightly by $18,000, and that's primarily related to a reduction in unrestricted lottery revenue. The next section is our expenditures. Salaries and benefits increased by $1,269,000, and that is related to the 5% increase in salaries and benefits and the 10% increase in health and welfare. The next item, our books and supplies increased by $636,000, and that's primarily related to carryover from 2013-14. And our operating expenses have increased by $258,000. $210,000 is related to Common Core budget that we reallocated out of books and supplies into capital outlay for computers and items like that we're going to purchase. And $48,000 in maintenance and operations was reallocated from supplies to capital outlay for some equipment they intend to purchase. So our total change is $2,163,000. This next slide shows our adopted budget in the left-hand column. That would be the June budget. The second column is our operating budget, which is our first interim report with the changes for the revenue that we just discussed and for any of the expenditure changes that we just discussed. The third and fourth column are projections for 15-16 and 16-17. So this next slide talks about what's in our reserve and details that out. So you'll notice if we look at the operating in column 2, that is our current first interim. We have $15,000 in revolving cash, $54,000 in inventory. The next two lines are the 3% required reserve and the 2% board reserve. There's been a little discussion about exactly how this is calculated, so I just wanted to remind you that that's based on the total expenses, but it does take out any transfers between unrestricted and restricted. So if you go through and want to calculate that 3%, that's why you might have a little difference in your calculation when you look at that. Then we have the legally restricted funds. The Emperor Construction Reserve is there, and the OPEB liability is there. The board has just approved that we set up these two new funds, so you're going to notice a difference on those. The $950 and the $750 will come out of that reserve. The total reserve will reduce by that amount because they'll now be in their own fund and reported separately. So also in your projected 15, 16, 16, 17, those amounts will be lower because it'll be an additional $250 in each of those years, but it won't be the $1 million or the $1,250,000 that you see now. And then the remainder is the designated for deficit. Any questions?
Questions? Member Ridley.
Thank you. You made the comment, I'm sorry, on slide number 3, that the $1,269,000 included the salary increases.
Yes.
So are those the increases we approved tonight? But
yes,
just the general fund portion of them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's why that amount's less than the fiscal impact.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
just the general fund portion.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
The other thing, you didn't really ask this, but I just want to share with you, is if you go back later and you're looking at the AB 1200 compared to this, you'll recall that the budget already had a 2.5% increase included in the budget. The way the county wanted us to present the data to them was if there was no increase at all, because the 2.5% hadn't actually been enacted. So if you look at those numbers and they look a little bit off to you, that would be the reason. So the first column would be actual salaries as they were. The second column will be that the entire 5% plus the 10% in salary, health and welfare, just in case you look.
Okay, other questions, comments? Member Bell.
Mr. Earl, I was hoping you might give me just a very brief description of what legally restricted reserve means. You may have mentioned it before in the past and I may have forgotten, so I apologize.
No problem. So restricted funds are primarily categorical funds, so federal categoricals or our special education. The other things that we consider restricted are the sites get different gifts and donations, and we consider those restricted funds as well.
All right, thank you very much.
Other questions or comments? Let's see. Other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. This is a motion, okay. All in favor of approving the interim financial report?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I hear 5-0. Thank you. Moving on, number 25. May I have a motion to reject a liability claim against the district by a parent for automobile damage repair. May I have such a motion, please?
So moved.
Seconded.
Motion by member Tiet, second by member Ridley. Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. Item 26, may I have a motion to approve deductive change order number 1 for PCN3 Inc. for the Temple City High School interim housing project in the amount of $38,000. So moved.
Seconded.
Motion by member Tiet, second by member Ridley. And do we have information about this, a presentation, or just questions? Okay. Mr. Rodriguez is here to answer questions or comments. Sorry. So, I mean, I think this is addressed in the memo, but I'll just ask the question. So this is change order number 1, and then in the fiscal impact, it says final contract amount. So as for this particular contract, this would be the end, is that right?
That's it.
Okay. Any further questions or comments? Board? Member Nolenberg.
Just a question. It mentions in here that Southern California, Edison wanted a separate meter. None of do any of our buildings have separate meters?
No.
So in a sense, if we did a study of utility costs for at least Edison, all we have is one big school and one big number.
Initially, yes. Before the interim housing, yes.
Okay.
Any more questions or comments? Okay. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's 5-0. Moving on, 27. May I have a motion to approve the notice of completion and release of retention for PCN 3 Inc. for the Temple City High School interim housing project in the amount of $57,150.
So moved.
Seconded.
Motion by member Tiet and second by member Ridley. Questions or comments? Yes, member Ridley.
Thank you. I just note, and I appreciate when I start to read this and I see the recommendation to approve the notice of completion and release of retention. Sometimes I'm concerned that we aren't waiting the appropriate period of time, but you called out very nicely in the very next sentence that we're going to wait the 60 days to provide the legal protection afforded us by filing a notice of completion.
Right.
So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Other questions or comments? No? Okay, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. Item 28, approve the notice of, excuse me. May I have a motion to approve the notice of completion and release of retention for P.H. Hagopian Contractor, Inc. for the Temple City High School Phase 0 site demolition and central plant project in the amount of $64,000.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by member Ridley, second by member Nolenberg. Questions, comments? The $64,000 question, anyone? No, okay, it's lost. Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Moving on, item number 29, approve new English language development 1C course for Temple City High School. May I have such a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by member Ridley, second by member Nolenberg. Questions and comments? I have a question. So, and I know it will be repeated for the next items. Is this then a course designed to go after a student has completed 1A and 1B during the school year?
That is correct. And the course would count as academic credit instead of elective credit.
And it would be on the same timeline as regular summer school?
Yes, sir.
Are there any staffing issues? In other words, would we then be approving more higher staffing levels for summer school?
No, sir. Currently, we offer elective courses during the summer, and we call it study skills class. So we're renaming that class to this class in which the students can receive academic credit. And so the level C course just represents that next level.
Okay. Any other questions? Let's do this member Ridley first and then member Nolan. Go ahead.
I'm just curious, we list a text, but it doesn't have any published date or copyright date. I'm just curious how current the text is.
It's a current text that we adopted maybe 3 years ago, Mary Jo, the EDGE, and we use it currently with our ELD program.
Thank you.
Okay, member Nolan, thank you.
Since this is going to be offered during summer school, is this going to be paid for by the foundation or do we pay for it?
No, we will be paying for it.
And that brings up a good question. So during the summer school, as I understand it, the calendar is the same for courses offered through the foundation and also for courses that we offer, is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. And so, but courses through the foundation don't give academic credit.
Oh, they do as
Okay.
well. However, our ELD courses in the past did not receive academic credit, they received elective credit. And in researching, looking at the data and meeting with Mr. Sewell and Ms. King, we realized that this was the best thing that we can do to move our EL students closer towards graduation. You might recall that we asked for 4 years of English in order for students to graduate. It's very difficult for the ELD student who enters our system as a 10th grader or an 11th grader to meet that requirement. So it's just one more avenue to help that student be successful.
Thank you. Member Nolenberg?
Yes, just to follow up, on the summer school, can somebody not in our district take this class for credit?
Yes.
Can they get credit for it?
Yes.
Okay.
But what we're doing now is just simply approving the course and how enrollment is done and who, that all is done through ordinary means.
Correct.
We expect normal course, sorry, is that the legal term?
Yes.
We expect that the course will be available to those of our students that need it.
Yes.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 5-0. Item number 30, may I have a motion to approve new English Language Development 2C course for Temple City High School?
Second.
Motion by member Nolenberg, second by member Bell. Any other questions or comments? Member Bell, please.
I noticed there are 3 different levels, and this is to address grade levels or capabilities.
Very good question. I'll explain that. So we have the CELT test that we're currently using, which is based on 5 levels of language acquisition. So level 1, ELD, is the beginner level. And level 2 would be students who are more intermediate, and level 3 would be students who are high intermediate and above.
And these would be students, these would be high school students either from Temple City High School or from the Learning Center.
Correct.
At least those that come from our district.
Correct.
Any other questions or comments? Member Bell?
Just as a side question, now these were designed primarily for high school students, yet hypothetically if you had, say, an 8th grader who was able and interested in taking this program, is that that's not something they could do, right?
Not at this time, because we do offer ELD courses during the summer for grades 7 and 8, and we even offer it at the elementary level. So this is particularly germane to high school, to receive high school graduation credit.
Okay, thanks.
So those offerings at the elementary and junior high level would remain. And we don't need to take action because those don't get high school credit anyway.
You got it, correct.
I'll have a high school next year, so I'll learn more about all these credits and what they all mean. Any other questions or comments on item number 30? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's 5-0. Item 31, may I have a motion to approve the new English Language Development 3C course for Temple City High School?
So moved. Second.
Motion by member Ridley, second by member Tiet. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. That's 5-0. Item 32, may I have a motion to approve a new multimedia sculpture course for Temple City High School? So moved.
Seconded.
Motion by member Tiet, second by member Ridley. Questions, comments?
Actually,
Member Bell?
yes, art is a love of mine, always been. So is this an enhancement, extension of what is currently there now?
Yeah, we've been looking for the middle level art classes. Our enrollment has been declining a little bit at the high school. And then when we hired Lisa this year, she had taught this class at a previous district and brought it to us. So we're really excited to offer it for us in this next year to help get our numbers back up.
Oh, great, fantastic. So, multimedia approach, so this is pretty interesting to me. I'm familiar with traditional sculpture, but and just out of curiosity for my own knowledge, how would we extend the multimedia aspect of this? Is this through presentations and?
The multimedia, oh, sorry. No, I wanted to.
Could we, so you're Lisa?
I'm Lisa.
You're Lisa, last name is?
Kid.
Kid, excellent, okay.
The multimedia aspect comes from various art medias. So we're using ceramics, we're using material, we're using found objects, we're using wire, we're using wood. We're changing the media that we're using in sculpture, not media as in like technology media.
Okay.
So it's more traditional visual arts.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
And how are our facilities to support that class?
Shouldn't have any impact on it.
Okay, I see nodding heads. We have, okay. It certainly looks like a really exciting opportunity for me, you know.
Can I attend?
For someone, exactly. Can we audit the class? Oh, Mr. Bell, I'm too old. Okay. Again, it looks like an exciting opportunity, and so, I'm very excited to support that. Board members, any other questions or comments about this? Okay, all right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's 5-0. Yes, that's cool. All right, moving on to item 33. May I have a motion to adopt resolution 1415-14, excusing board member Ridley's absence at the special joint board meeting with Temple City High School ASB leadership students on November 12, 2014.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by member Tiet, second by member Nolenberg. Questions or comments?
Roll call.
Thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mr. Millenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Pomeroy?
Yes.
Mr. Ridley?
I abstain.
Mr. Tiet?
Yes. Item 34, may I have a motion to adopt resolution 1415-15, excusing board member Bell's absence at the special joint board meeting with Temple City High School ASB students and the regular board meeting on November 12, 2014.
So moved.
Motion by member Tiet, I will second that. Can I still do that? Okay, thank you. Questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Bell?
I abstain.
Mr. Millenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Pomeroy?
Yes.
Mr. Ridley?
Yes.
Mr. Tiet?
Yes.
Item 35, may I have a motion to approve the notice of completion for Digital Network Group for the district-wide wireless network upgrade and final payment in the amount of $4,275.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by member Tiet, second by member Bell. Questions or comments? Member Bell?
I do actually, and I'm reading this. Mr. Block, I see you back there. Okay, so is this correct? We have access points in every classroom at all sites now?
Yes, we do.
Awesome. All right. Glad to hear that. So this whole project was to provide that ability. Now, with and I probably shouldn't be talking about this, but I'm assuming provisions are also accounted for with the new construction that's happening. That's all factored in at some point.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. All right. And just one last question. I know you have individual controllers at the sites. Do you have redundant backups at all in case any of them fail for, you know?
Well, the very nature of the instant controller is that at the primary access point where the controller is hosted, if it fails, another controller picks up the role. That's for the instant ones. For the two hardware-based controllers, one at the high school and one at Oak, the one at Oak is the primary, and then the one at the high school is the secondary. So if that one fails, the other one will pick up the job.
All right, excellent. Thank you very much.
Very welcome.
Further questions? Member Tiet, or then Member Nolenberg.
I was just wondering now it's up and running, does that mean anyone with the iPad or a tablet or whatever can access our wireless?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. I didn't understand the question.
I was just wondering, maybe I'm not understanding what this is for, but when we have the wireless, this is wireless, right?
Right.
And now can I go onto any site and access the wireless?
Yes.
Okay, but do I still have to give you the MAC address?
Every device, once it's in our system, is valid at every site, district-wide, and the district office.
Okay, but then if I have a new device, I would still need to give you the MAC address.
Right, you still need to submit it to the tech department, we put it in the system, and then it's valid district-wide.
Okay.
We currently have over 2,500 devices, wireless devices in the system, and on a daily basis, up to 1,200 attached to our network on every single day.
Are we going to start moving away from being required to send you the MAC address for every single device that we have?
Well, we still need to put it in the system, yes, so the tech department handles that.
Okay. Thank you.
Member Nolenberg?
Yeah, we have access, in each classroom, there's access to the wireless system.
Every single classroom has an access point.
And every student, if every student showed up with a laptop or something and wanted to use the system will handle it?
Absolutely.
Okay, and how many, can all the classrooms at all the schools, in a sense, utilize it 100% without it coming down?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, it's sized up to 3 times the number of students that we have right now. So it can handle more than 20,000 devices easily.
But then every student would have to notify the tech department of their MAC address?
No, for the BYOD, we just give them an ID and password. It's their student ID and then a 10-digit password, and they can enroll up to 5 devices with that ID and password. So we plan ahead for the BYOD side, but for district-owned devices or iPhones and iPads that the teachers use, we put those in so they don't have to have any authentication.
Member Bell?
If I may make a suggestion on the BYOD portion of it, I understand the practicality and convenience of allowing each student to be able to basically enroll 5 devices. I would just like to see if we could think.
I'm sorry, I can't go.
I'm sorry.
I don't know when to gavel.
Okay, he's going to bring the hammer down.
Just that, okay, I guess I want to make sure our focus is here on this particular agenda item and approving this notice of completion and the final payment. And I did think there's a mechanism to suggest additional related items for future agendas.
Sure.
But on this subject of this notice of completion and this final payment, any other comments or questions? I guess I have a question. So people that are on campus, as you said, staff or other people would have their addresses. What's the term you used?
MAC, M-A-C.
MAC, I've heard of that. Okay, the ID, the MAC ID, whatever it is. Okay, well, obviously.
So other visitors, parents or someone on campus or someone walking down the street, I mean, they wouldn't have access to the particular network. Is that right?
That's correct. Right now, if they access the TCUSD SSID, what's broadcast through the air, there's an enrollment page. And each of the school sites, I've explained how that works so that if a parent needs temporary access for the day, they can just email, or they can fill out that form, and it emails a request to any TCUSD staff member. I've also let the sites know that if they have parent volunteers that are constantly on site for all year or this kind of thing, we can add them to the system as a permanent guest or as a guest for a year. That's been very popular so far.
Okay.
That way they don't have to keep entering in their password. It just automatically remembers it every time they attach.
I understand. All right. Well, if there are related items that any board member would like to address, I certainly look forward to hearing about them. But on this topic, other comments or questions? How about our student board member? I'll put you on the spot. I'm the president, I get to do that, right? Wireless access by students, I mean, in your experience, are students accessing wirelessly on campus?
Yeah, I think for the most part, we all have our passwords, and so that way you can, if you bring a laptop or you have your cell phone, you can hook it up to the Wi-Fi and use the internet that way. And it's really helpful in classrooms, especially if we're looking at something on the internet, or the teacher asks us to look something up, that we can all do that on the Wi-Fi rather than having to use our cell phones. A lot of cell phones have data plans, but it's helpful to not use it all up, as that is expensive.
Good, thank you. Well, it goes for you too, that if there are other things that we could discuss at future board meetings, I hope you bring it to our attention. Any other questions or comments?
I have one more question actually.
Please.
For this, when the sponsor email, because I know when you log into the Wi-Fi, if it comes up as a guest, it says the sponsor email. So I think you mentioned previously, so that can be any high school or TCUSD employee.
Employee can approve because it comes right to their email.
Okay.
There's a button in their email that says to approve that access, and then within a minute, that guest account is approved.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So far it's worked out very well. I've hardly had any complaints about it. And like I say, we've opened it up pretty much, and the guest network is its own private network. So those guests can't see anything on the TCUSD AD side, our servers, or any of our other resources. So it's like a walled garden that provides the visitor with access to the internet and to their email and other resources outside of our network.
Thank you. Okay. All in favor? Aye. 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Ball. May we have a motion to receive for second reading and approve Board Policy 5127 regarding graduation ceremonies?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Member Tiet, second by Member Nolenberg. Comments, discussion? No? Okay. So just to clarify from my own memory, so we've modified some language to make it clear that we will provide caps and gowns and things for those students that are not able to pay for them themselves, and otherwise not require anyone to make a payment if they're not able to do so. Is that fair?
That is correct.
Yes. Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. Now, item 37, receive revised board policies for first reading as enumerated in item 37.
So moved.
Second.
Motion to approve by Member Tiet and second by Member Nolenberg. Discussion? Member Tiet?
I'm sorry, it would be a motion to receive.
I'm sorry, I said, okay.
Yes.
So you're making a motion to receive the policies enumerated in item 37, is that right, for first reading?
Correct.
Thank you, all right. Motion by Member Tiet for that purpose, seconded by Member Nolenberg. Discussion?
No? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. Consent agenda, routine items. Approved by one motion and one vote unless a member of the board or a member of the audience requests that any item be reviewed and voted upon separately. Are there any requests to review and vote separately upon any item under the consent agenda?
Yes, please.
Member Ridley.
I'd like number 38 handled separately, please.
Thank you. Any other requests?
Just comments on a couple of them.
May I then have a motion to approve items on the consent agenda number 39 through the end, which would be 45. May I have such a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Second it.
Motion by Member Tiet and a second by Member Ridley. So, maybe I did this out of order, but dealing with 39 through 45. Questions or comments on those?
Yes, just a couple of them, just maybe it's more of an observation. But under the contracts, there's two of them that are on, they didn't have a page number, for the printing, for the yearbooks. And you look at, one of them is for 19,000, the other one's for 83,000. And there comes out of the ASB funds. And just to give you an idea, here's $100,000 that the students have to come up with. So it just for yearbooks, was a rather substantial amount of money, I think, that they have to raise themselves. And then I just like to, on 41, just like to thank the school foundation for all their contributions to Longden and the teachers for the grants that we received. The majority of the $12,000 is from them. And then I've got a couple of really quick questions on the vouchers.
Go ahead.
Okay, on voucher number 8, it's about fencing, and voucher number 10 is the roof contracting. Are those coming out of the bond money, or are they coming out of developers' fees?
Both of those are coming from the general fund.
Okay. And there's one other one, I think. No, that's it.
Okay. Yes, Member Ridley.
On our POs, item number 18, School Services of California Governor's Budget Workshop, Board of Education. It's a very large amount. I'm just curious why so much.
As a courtesy to the unions, we register people that they want to send, and they reimburse the district, and the district has been reimbursed for all those expenses.
So it's just what we charge.
We have to charge it somewhere.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else, Member Ridley? Any other questions or comments on these particular consent agenda items? Okay, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. Now, item 38. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting of Temple City High School Associated Student Body Leadership Students and the Board of Education of November 12, 2014.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Member Tiet and second by Member Nolenberg. Questions or comments? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye.
And I abstain.
I abstain as well.
3-0 abstentions from Mr. Doe and Mr. Ridley. Moving on, item 46, board comments and requests for future information or agenda items. Are there any requests for future information or agenda items? Member Bell.
Okay, this is the appropriate time to do that. I apologize for earlier. I just want to understand a little bit more how we're structured with BYOD. And I don't like to think in negative ways how you could circumvent a system, although it's not that difficult. But, so I place myself, I just want to understand, I want clarification on how that works, because to me, seeing that a student will have basically the ability to enroll 5 devices, my concern is, what if somebody has access to your identification, logs on using your identification? That's really, that's the crux of it, is that's what I'm worried about, so.
Okay, I hear that request, is that? Okay, okay, thank you. Member Nolenberg.
It's more of a follow-up on 35 again. The digital network, I guess just looking for a comfort feeling that our people have the skills to maintain this network system that we put in. That we spent, what, $1 million or more on. Do our people need it, or do we need to put a contract in place with Digital Network Group to support the system? And in a sense, is how much of a workload does this put on the IT department to manage this? Whether hopefully it's transparent and there's no additional workload. But the question is it a significant workload increase?
Okay, that sounds like a request for information, which.
I can respond to that, since Mr. Block did address, well, no, since he did address part of the system. As we're moving forward and reorganizing our technology department and tech center, because of the way we're diversifying the workload, we believe that by allowing the sites more access, more flexibility, and more freedom, and I'm not from the inline user, but the actual media personnel, we believe that we're able to balance the load right now. And this particular digital networks product will actually assist, because a number of our issues that the tech center was dealing with were wireless access issues. So we believe going forward this is actually going to be a benefit rather than burden. Just so the board knows, I oversee the tech department, and so going forward we're doing a number of things differently to ensure our service model, but also to balance our workload appropriately so that our inline users receive quality service in a more expedient manner.
So the tech lights will be the ones that will be managing most of it at the site?
They could be, but at a future board meeting, we could come back to you with how we are reorganizing our service model for that department.
Any other requests for information agenda items? Member Ridley?
Yes, I would ask that the possibility of an increase to the board's level of compensation be brought back. It's been some time. We are below the statutory limit, and there is room to do so. And I think in terms of an equity issue, it's appropriate to bring it back. Also, again, I just ask that we adjourn in honor of Mike Palmer and Ophelia Arroyo.
Thank you. Any other requests for information of future agenda items? Okay. All right, then may I have a motion to adjourn in memory of Mike Palmer and Ophelia Arroyo? Motion by member Nolenberg, second by member Ridley. All in favor? Aye. Aye. 5-0. Thank you, everyone.